you might just have to bend it like Beckham and kick the fucking shit out of a dog. You got to punt that thing. You got to be like Ray Finkel, laces out and then boot it. Steven Jankovic with Strong Dogs USA. If you don't know me, I train dogs, also train people, played a little golf, taught the golf swing for a little bit. Now people play better than I do. So in essence, I just like to tell people and things what to do. So got a bit of a good question today. You know, question came from a sad story, but it's still a good question. Question is, should you and how would you break up a dog fight? My buddy from the gym, she got fucked up. She broke up a dog fight, one that was her dogs were in. A stray saw them, ran over, and shit happened. They got into a fight, you know, started some shit, and fight they go. And she did what she had to do to break it up, but now her hands are all chewed up, beat up, eaten up, skin is off, got screws and wires in her hands. She might even lose a pinky. I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, but just the image comes to my mind is like that Seinfeld episode when George burns his hands, and then at the end of the episode, his hands are all wrapped up and he can't use them. That's what she looks like right now. So with that being said, it was like, well, should you have stepped in the middle? And was there a better way of breaking them up? Okay. So morally, that's going to be up to you. That's, if you decide to get involved, totally up to you. There is a couple of parts to that one. Like, should you, if you love your dog and they are like part of your family, like mother or father loves their child and you will defend them at any cost? Yes, absolutely. If you see them more rather than part of the family and more adjacent, arm's length, I don't know, you might just say fuck it and let them figure it out themselves. Again, it depends on your emotional connection, how much love you have for your dogs, okay? If it was me, I'll go ahead and just get this out of the way. If it was me, I'm punching a fuck out of a fucking dog if they came and started some shit with Arya, or even back in the day, which I almost had to do back in the day with Ace Neva. But I've been very fortunate enough to know that my dogs are very scrappy, so if other dogs wanted to start some shit, they have no problem defending themselves. But I'm going to back up my boys, or I'm going to back up my girls and make sure they have the best cases, best chances of winning, so to speak. So again, if you morally, they're part of the family, you got to do what you got to do. So yes, get in there. If they're not, then that's on you. You got to just decide, well, they'll figure it out. I'm just going to walk away. But there is a physicality part to this. They're going to piss some people off, and I don't care. Can you physically, do you have the physical strength to break up a dogfight? There are numerous examples where, you know, I'm not even going to say, you know, aggressive breeds, but big breeds, dogs are predators. They start shit. So some are big. I'm not talking about two little poodles or two little chihuahuas. I'm talking about, like, say, like a Doberman. I know they get a bad rap, but a pit bull or a shepherd, you know, things like that. Do you physically have the strength to do it? You know, some ladies, they might. Some ladies, they don't. Some boys might, and some boys don't. You know, it's each person, you know, in that situation. Adrenaline might be going, so you might find the strength to lift a car up off a baby. So again, you got to start asking yourself these questions before ever entering. Well, you don't want to enter that situation before that situation falls upon you. But there are things you can do to avoid those situations as well. So, do you have the physical prowess to break it up? If you don't, find it. So if you check mark those two, how would you actually do it? Yes, you can carry your sticks, you can carry your sprays, all that is great. But say you don't have any of that. What do? Well, if you see a dog coming at you like a Scud missile, just beaming, you know you are the target, first thing you can do, well, you can start running at that dog, screaming and hollering, throwing your hands around to break up that dog's energy, to show that dog you're the one that that dog should be afraid of, not the other way around. So this way, when they see, you know, a force coming at them, hopefully that'll put them in check enough to where they say, you know what, this might not be what I thought it was. I'm going to go the other way. Kind of like, you know, fighting the bears. Sometimes you got to stand your ground. Other ways, I'm going to try and do this in order, but I might fall out of order here, is you might just have to bend it like Beckham and kick the fucking shit out of a dog. You got to punt that thing. You got to be like Ray Finkel, laces out and then boot it. So, or be like Tyson and punch him in the eye or bite him in the ear, something to the point of getting that physical. But at least with a punch or a kick, there is still space between you and that dog, and hopefully you can keep your dog. You can be in that middle ground, so you're not in the. You can be in the middle of your dog and that dog, because last thing you want to do is when the two dogs lock horns, what are you going to do then? And that's where this one might come into play. There's two. One, depending on the size and depending on how they're moving, you might have to grab the aggressor, the other dog's, not yours, back legs, grab them, grip them, and then spin them around. Almost like you're going to throw them and helicopter them. But instead of letting go, because if you don't spin enough that and you stop, that dog will make a U-turn and come right back and bite you in the ass. So when you grab them by the high legs, spin them around, do a 360, do a 720, do a 1080. Just keep them spinning, because if they keep spinning, they can't turn ahead to bite you. So keep them moving until you create enough space between the two dogs. And then hopefully by then, maybe you just need to kick the shit out of it, and that would trigger their head to be like, okay, I can't trifle with these people. Next one, so this one is where I said you do have the physical strength to do this, is you might have to incapacitate them, meaning you have to get 50 Shades of Grey style on them, chokehold them, grab them around the neck, lift up, incapacitate them, take the air out of their wings. Again, you got to think Friday night on this one with your girlfriend or your boyfriend and having a good time, but instead it's with the dog, because you're putting them to sleep. It's nighty-night. Sometimes, just like you can with a slip lead, you can do it with a prong collar. By taking the air out of them, one, it's going to be like, oh shit, what happened? And then two, their soul's going to wake up again and realize that behavior was not cool, and now I went to sleep. So you might have to do that just so they can let loose on their jaw, or the adrenaline or the anger and the aggression, that when they finally relax, you can just drag them, move them, and then get your dog and self out of there. So there's a couple of options on how to hopefully do it safely. Now, one way you can't avoid all this is when you're walking around, you have to be mindful of your surroundings. This is why people are like, you are always so observant. You know always what's going on in your neighborhood. Well, yeah, because I'm looking, because I'm on the foresight. If shit goes down, I'm going to see it. So if you see something, like if you're walking in a neighborhood, notice who has fences in their neighborhood. Notice who's got dogs out in their front yard, who's got access to backyards from the front yard, who's got, who lets their dogs out loose, who lets them not have a fence or an electric fence, whose dog is out and not on a leash or even an e-collar, whose dogs are out and the owners are not out. All these things you can kind of get a map of and then avoid those situations. And that would be the safest way, so you don't, hopefully, fingers crossed, you never find yourself in those situations. But if you have to, and you're going to protect your dog, beat that other fucking dog's ass, and hopefully, and I'm just saying this now to cover my ass, it's totally up to you. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, find whatever means. Just don't sue me. You got to, just don't say, hey, Steve J told me to do this and I'm looking for dog fights. No. These are these one-off scenarios, hopefully. But, you know, again, we live in a real world, so these are real world problems and dog owner problems. So just keep yourself and your dog safe at all costs. And hopefully these help to keep, you know, injuries at a lower risk and your dog's safety at a higher level. So good luck, be safe, keep training, peace.